Steakhouse owner. Craig Hughes is a Penn State alum, but there you see James Franklin tweeting out the experience the Nittany Lions.
I knew that. You should pay more attention.
I know you knew that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know that?
Right.
Our guy Craig Hughes took care of us, Penn Stater.
Absolutely.
It was unbelievable. Had a ribeye.
Yeah. Well, let's go through some other restaurant owners and the schools they graduated.
We should say we're Penn State guys.
Keep going.
We should go.
Yeah. Could you do that? Could you work that for us?
No, we
Everybody knows these guys. Not getting away with that.
James, how did everyone do with the shrimp cocktail?
So I tried to coach him up.
Yeah.
Olu wasn't interested.
He told me earlier, yeah.
Now, Adisa is trying to be well-mannered, mouth shut, chewing the vapors. It's like Vicks, straight out the nose. And all of a sudden he starts to tear up, and it got him. And he was done after that. He wasn't having it anymore. But it was awesome. We had a great time. Craig was awesome to us. Mike Robinson came up and said hello. Adam Brenneman, a bunch of Penn Staters that were there came up and visited us. Was really good. Todd Blackledge came up as well. So we had a great night.
It sounds good. You had a great year last year, too. Last time I saw you, in fact, we were outside the Rose Bowl. It was miserable outside, but I know you were feeling really good inside after a great win. How do you process that season last year? Again, winning the Rose Bowl, finishing in the top 10, all of the positives that surrounded it. How do you process that, and how do you move forward with it?
Yeah, so I think first of all, you got to talk about the opponent. I got a ton of respect for Utah and their head football coach. I think that's a really good football program. They beat a really good USC team twice, which, Coach, that's hard to beat anybody twice in the same season. So I thought we finished the season with a really good win against a really good opponent, essentially on the road in the Rose Bowl. So that gave us a lot of momentum coming into the offseason, a bunch of young talent on that team. So I thought overall, we had a good season. We finished, number 7 in the country, so I think we're in a healthy position. But obviously at a place like Penn State, the expectations are high. We embrace those expectations. And our side of the conference, when you're talking about the people that we have to compete with. So we're in a good place, but we need to take the next step. I think we're in a position to do that, have some question marks that we need to figure out between now and West Virginia.
We sat here last year and we asked you about the run game, and we asked you about the offensive line, and you said you weren't making any promises on the O-line, that you were done making promises. You felt like the run game was going to be better. I'd say it was dramatically better with Drew Singleton and Katron Allen. You got Trey Potts in there now as well in that room. A year later, what can you tell us about how you feel about that part of your offense?
Yeah, I think similar. Obviously, when you get a guy like Olu Fashanu who decides that he wants to come back and graduate from Penn State, I think that sends a message. And then on top of that, our depth is just in a very different position. We have, I think, a 2.5 deep at that position that we can win with in the Big Ten with some real talented individuals leading the way. It also helps, I think we're going against a really good defensive line at practice every single day. Iron sharpens iron. And then we have 2 running backs that are proven commodities. Nick can go 80 yards at any point. Katron, I think, is a natural running back, a productive running back, can make people miss, got great vision, balance, contact balance, and size. And then we were able to go out and get a proven commodity in the Big Ten to come back home to where his mother went to school in Mr. Potts.
Coach, we've been doing this since 2007, and a lot of good things have been said about Penn State in that time. But no one's ever said Penn State has the best offensive line in the conference going into the season. So preseason predictions. And there's other places around the conference that you would think in the Midwest you could build an offensive line. It's taken you a while. Is it harder now than ever before to build the kind of offensive line you've built?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think obviously we're in a much different position now. When I got there and we only had 5, right. It was a very different. We had 5 total in the whole program.
And you need 5.
Correct.
Correct.
Had all
a little analysis.
Yeah. I think where it's hard, Coach, is tackles. They're just hard to find those guys that have the length and the athleticism to be on the edge. Some programs are going to take the philosophy they're going to recruit 5 tackles You can play with tackles at guard a lot of times and sometimes at center as well. It's hard to get those guards outside. So I think we've done a really good job of recruiting length, and it's not always height. There's some of these guys that are 6'3" with really long arms and athletic feet that are able to do it as well. But I think Coach Troutwine has done a really good job in the footprint. We don't have enough to support it just in the state of Pennsylvania, but in the footprint. And then we've gone out. We got a young man by the name of Vengaioni from Washington that we signed late, who's going to factor in for us and is 350 pounds and can move. You guys will be impressed when you see him.
Oh.
What's been different? Because I think Penn State has always recruited under you at a very high level. But it seems that those elite players that are coming now are contributing right away. Is it just the mentality? What is it that's been the difference?
Well, I think we're being able to more consistently do it in stack classes, where in the past we may have a really good class and then 2 years later have a really good class. We're able to do it, I think, on a more consistent basis right now. When that happens, you just got a chance. Last year we were fortunate. We had a ton of freshmen that came in, and by game 5 they were heavy contributors and making a big impact. I'm hoping we're able to do that again this year, and now you got 2 really good freshman classes that are impacting our roster. So I'm not sure. A combination of making sure we're doing a great job in the state of Pennsylvania, keeping our guys home, and then complimenting them. And then we've gone to some kind of unusual places, like I mentioned, Washington and Alabama and places like that Penn State just felt like the right fit for their families.
What are some of your points of emphasis going into camp?
So, I think, like always, Coach, toughness, up front on both sides of the ball, but really at every position. Can we run in situations when everybody in the stadium knows you need to run to win? And then the same thing in defending those situations on the defensive side of the ball. I think the battles that we'll have on our O&D line will prepare us for that, and the depth and the talent that we have there. A question mark last year was at linebacker. That's not a question mark anymore. But we did lose in the secondary Joey Porter and Tig, who were really productive players for us. But at those positions like that, you play so many guys, we have a lot of confidence. The production, we'll see. Wide receivers, the big question for us on offense. We feel like we got 2 guys that are coming back that are established, and then there's a battle for really the number 3 receiver position, but really all those backups. I feel like there's a lot of guys that are ready to step up, but they need to do it.
Coach, you have a culinary superstar in your home, your daughter. So I want to know what's your go-to favorite baking dish she has for you.
So you're talking about Shola Franklin, my 16-year-old daughter who just started driving. So I would prefer her baking than driving, to be honest with you.
Who, by the way, last year when we asked her about going to college, she said, "I've been in college all my life."
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that is fair. Now our plan is to go to New York City and go to culinary school. But I just love whatever she does. She's really creative. She does a really good job with it. It's something she's passionate about. I think for all of us as parents and coaches, you want your children, your players, to find something that they love and are passionate about. She's found it, so we want to support it in every way we can. Hopefully, you guys will get another taste this year, because early on it was like it looked pretty. And then she got it like tasting really good. Now it does both. It tastes good and it's really pretty.
You're saying this,
yeah.
Not us.
I'm saying she is legit now in every area. It's visually impressive and it tastes unbelievable. But not only that, she's cooking all types of things now.
Cool.
So don't be afraid to bring someone.
That's what I'm saying.
That would have been polite. So I did not have us asking about your daughter's culinary skills before asking about Drew Aller.
I know what's important.
Yeah, right.
I know what's important.
Priorities.
Yes, exactly.
I know it's more
It's
interesting.
the cookies that she makes for Drew Aller.
See?
Yeah. See, I like how you tied it all together.
One's a lifetime skill. The other guy's not going to play football forever.
Yeah, maybe she can teach him how to cook too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll have
here's the
something to
thing.
do when he's
Before
done
you
that.
ask that question,
Yeah.
Still can't get to the
She
I
has
still can't ask about
Your
Drew
daughters
Aller.
have such a great relationship. One of the fun things, if you go around the campus, they have such a great relationship with your players, and they have so much respect for them. So when you talk about making those cookies or whatever she decides she wants to make for the players, they all embrace it because they just love being around it.
Now, what do you want to know?
Now, what do you want to know? Go ahead.
Coach, how did the experience that Drew Aller
Is this
picked
the
up?
Food Network? What do we got going on here?
How did the experience of that you were able to get Drew Aller last year, how does that factor into now when he becomes the guy this year? How does that help? Because I know you really finessed that. You had a record-setting quarterback in Sean Clifford, and yet you figured out a way.
Yeah, so maybe I'm still a little bit old school. You know, I was with the Green Bay Packers, coached the receivers there when we had a quarterback named Brett Favre. We drafted Aaron. I was with Aaron for his rookie year with the Green Bay Packers. And I just thought there was a ton of value. I still believe this in the NFL or college, although it's become kind of common now for them to play, rookies in the NFL, for him to sit behind Brett and learn from what Brett did well, learn from things that he would do differently. And Sean was great like that. Sean's football IQ, he's great in the meeting room, he's been phenomenal, and we were able to play Drew in 10 games. So you kind of got the best of both worlds. And as you guys saw, like we opened the season, on the road, primetime game, blackout at Purdue, and Drew got in that game and showed tremendous poise and skill. So there's a lot there to work with, and we need to continue to build on. He's going to have a great preseason. He is competing with Bo Perbula, so we'll see how that goes.
Head coach of the Nittany Lions, James Franklin, great to see you. Coach, we'll look forward to tasting some of those cookies.
No.
When we're in State College.
They're getting desserts. You weren't supportive of this conversation, so no dessert for you.
Thank you,
There we
Coach.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, that hurts. I'm sure they'll share there because
No, I'm sure we won't.
they're very kind. Wow, that hurt.